Hi, this is Sandy from Spitfire's Customer Experience team, and this is the second video looking at the instruments included in Flutterdust Vol.2. If you haven't already, I'd recommend you watch the first video in this series where we looked at Flutterdust Wavetable, because Flutterdust Looper, which we're looking at in this video, is very similar and shares a lot of the same controls. So when you open Flutterdust Looper, you'll notice that it looks an awful lot like the micro view in Flutterdust Wavetable, and the interface is very, very similar. The main difference between the Looper and the Wavetable versions of Flutterdust is that in the Looper version, you have individual control over the sample playhead position and loop length and loop positions for each of the notes on the keyboard. So you can have a different sound and loop length and character for C, for D, for F, and so on. Besides this, the interface is almost identical to the micro view in the last video. We have controls aligned vertically for each of the notes of the keyboard, and we have the same chaos and order buttons as before. You'll notice that we now have a specific set of chaos and order buttons for our controls and for our loops. And again, remember, the chaos and order buttons will only affect controls which are white on the left-hand column here, not those that are grey. So you'll notice, if I hit the chaos controls, everything above the wavetable changes that is white on the left-hand side. I can click Order to put that back to its default setting. And for the loops along the bottom, you'll notice that if I grey these out, then only those that are white will change. Just like the micro view in the last video, these controls at the top can be changed by clicking Send or LFO here. LFO is a low-frequency oscillator on volume, and we have control over the time, the amount of time it takes to fade in, the depth and pulse width modulation of that LFO. Again, just to recap, the blue bars are our high and low pass filters, then we have an attack, decay, sustain, release envelope, volume, and pan underneath. In the bottom right, we have drop-down menus for our reverb sends, and we have controls for our delay sends. To access these controls for the different notes, just click Send, and you can access them here. Remember that if a control is white, changing that parameter for C will change it for all of the notes, and if it's grey, then they can all be edited individually. The trigger controls are exactly the same as in the last video, so I won't cover those again. But just quickly, let's have a listen to how this sounds using the same MIDI as before. You'll notice that the individual notes have completely different character to them, meaning that the sound can get probably even more complex than Wavetable. And once again, just like the wavetable, we also have a second tab at the bottom here, where we can access a visual guide for the different controls and for the different information about the wavetable. This is really handy if you're not quite sure what one of the controls does, or you just need a quick reminder. So now that we've looked at the looper and wavetable, that's it for Flutterdust. Join me in the next video, where we'll be looking at Infundibulum. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us at spitfireaudio.com/support. Thank you.